CV's it's an important segment for us. I think it's a growing segment for us, particularly with electrification. So I think you'll see we have a balanced set of our products, so both in terms of the internal combustion engine products as well as the electrification products. So it's really to showcase, I think, the present, but also to spend some time emphasizing the future. So we have our battery packs, high voltage E-fans, as well as fuel injections and turbo products. And it's really just nice, I think, to be back in person and have a chance to meet with customers and clients and the press and others. I think what we're really trying to showcase is that, again, I think it is that present as well as the future, and also recognizing that there's uncertainty in the future. So we have showcase of the, again, internal combustion engine products, whether it's fuel injection, turbochargers, exhaust gas management. But then as we look forward, you've got the battery or electrified propulsion system, so the BEVs, power electronics, electric machines, but also hydrogen is another space where there's a lot of activity going on. And so that's a big focus, particularly of our fuel systems area. So I think it is that balanced view. It is the present, it is the future, but it's also recognizing that all the end state solutions for all the applications are clearly defined, but we're really here to work with our customers to deliver those, what they need, right? And really help them navigate to get to that future.
Yeah, I would say, put it a different way, it's a really strong focus on sustainable mobility, right? So the sustainability factor, strong emphasis on electrification. You know, we're a company that really focuses on propulsion, so moving the vehicle, and in that there's really an energy chain. If you think about getting sustainable power that you've generated, getting that from the grid to the road, that energy flow path, we live all the way along that path. So if we walk out the door, we're going to look at DC fast chargers, taking power right from the grid, put it into the battery packs. There's battery packs out there. Then it's the power inverter that converts that DC, powers the motor, gets it out to the driveline. And so from that perspective, and that propulsion chain, you think of it's a battery electric vehicle. Even in a fuel cell vehicle is an electric vehicle. Okay, it's got a fuel cell power source. It still has a battery pack, the inverter, the motor, the gear set. So I think by putting these elements in place, we're really positioning ourselves well for sustainable mobility and what these customers, like you were saying, what people are going to be doing here, what seems like very quickly.
I think there are clear points of differentiation, particularly with regards to technology, and Harry, you're probably best positioned to run through some of those.
So we've been doing this for a long time. When passenger cars, one type of market, vehicles in CV, very different type of vehicle. High durability, high mileage, total cost of ownership, and we've been doing this literally for decades, right? And so a CV vehicle OEM, when they look at a BorgWarner, they know they've got a proven supplier that's been doing this for a long time, understands their market, and can deliver products that are going to last the life of the vehicle. And so when we look at that, I think what we've been doing in the internal combustion engine space transfers over really well into the e-mobility space. We approach it with the same mentality. So if you look outside at the battery packs, that's a CV grade battery pack. Okay, it's purpose designed for commercial vehicles and has all the features. It's got the structural element, the thermal element, in addition to the battery and the energy storage. So that's a key difference. And for example, those battery packs, you know, what's great, that was part of an acquisition we did this year, Akasol, and it's beyond aspirational in terms of having customers, right? We're producing packs, we're in the field already with mileage on buses and things like that. So it's a pretty cool story that actually, you know, that bubble's getting big in EV, but there's an early tail that we're already participating in, which is pretty cool.
I think you made a good point. I think the decades of experience, you have that global player established in propulsion for 130 years, and if you keep me honest on that, but so a really long period of time. We know how to deal with our customers, we know what the requirements are, but even in the electrification space, there's decades. It's not years or months or whatever, it's decades of experience in that. And so we've participated. Obviously, it's gone kind of slowly, and now it's really going into the steep part of the growth curve. but we've been following along and working in that the whole time. I think overall CV is probably, maybe it's about 10% of our business, so we do have bias towards passenger car, but it's still very important. In terms of Europe, I think it's probably about maybe a little less than half of that's in Europe. So Europe's a very important market for us in terms of commercial vehicle. We do see it growing, so Akasol is really a CV-focused play from an electrification perspective. There's the charging space, which again maybe isn't in vehicle, but there's also all the relationships there with charging depots with the OEMs, the eFan, which is out there. So it is an area of growth for us. So we're again building. We have relationships with really all of the leading CV OEMs, and we're able to translate that as they make their shifts, and we're augmenting that with things like Akasol to really build out the portfolio. I mean, our lead focus, if you will, is electrification, right? I think that's probably pretty clear. That said, there's clearly a role for hydrogen longer term, and there are uncertainties around how that plays out. So it is important, particularly where it leverages capabilities we already have, whether it's hydrogen and fuel injection, or and even the power electronics and other things for fuel cells. And so those are areas that we do support, and we support. I mean, there are natural extensions with parts of our the legacy business, the ICE part of the business. So I'd say the emphasis is clearly on electrification, but we are also making sure that we cover those and are able to support our customers and helping them, as I mentioned, just chart the course and figure out how the industry evolves and what the best solutions are for the corresponding applications.
Yeah, and I think those strategies make sure that we've got the right products in the portfolio. Right, so you talked about that breadth, and then after that, I think there's really an element of customer intimacy. We are in a fast-changing period in the industry. It's a transformative period, and it's happening pretty quickly. And in that, as you said, there's a lot of uncertainty, and one way to make sure that you know you're going to come out on the right side is stay really close to the customers, in touch, and make sure that the product development is really aligned with where they're going. They're figuring it out, and we're kind of right by their side as they go.
So Asia is very important for us. I think you mentioned it's balanced across the three regions. We have more facilities in Asia than we have in other parts of the world. And in India, I think we have 6 sites, and actually this week we're announcing we're opening another facility. So India is very important for us. We have a mix of partnership relationships. I think a big focus specifically around the CV players. So that'll be a natural transition, I think, as they move from ICE into the EV applications. So it's clearly a region and a country that we're committed to, both in terms of serving our customers, but I think also from an engineering perspective, and Harry can touch on that surely in more detail.
Yeah, so India has been a place, actually, we've been doing development there for over 20 years. So we have a great team in Bengaluru, and that base of engineers, historically they've been doing software for us in the firmware. We've been expanding the scope of that team, so moving into different product areas. Historically, that was a lot of focus on engine management software, and then as we got into electrification, we moved in inverter software engineering, so we've grown the product scope, and now we're growing into electronics hardware design as well. So that team, our team in Bengaluru, is growing a lot, has grown a lot in the past couple of years, and we see continued growth here in the future. So it's a good story there. The piece that goes with that is we look at there's this year, but then there's the future, and what we've seen in this year is we keep booking and getting awards toward our charging forward goal. Well, in 2025, we said we want to be 25% pure electric sales revenue in 25. When we said that, we were at 3%. So go 3 to 25 in 4 years. It's a steep curve there, but we set goals for ourselves. We said we wanted to book $2.5 billion in 25, and with the contributions this year, we're at $2.9 billion. So in terms of booking, this year's been a really good booking year. So engineers are staying really busy, and we're adding engineers to the team because of the story that's happening in electrification.
Yeah,
So
I think it's a great point. I mean, there's obviously a lot of focus on the present because there's a lot going on, but obviously no loss in focus on the future. Organic targets were passed, and then there's been M&A activity as well, which there's been a number of announcements to continue to build towards that objective, and I think we feel good about being on track in that space as well.
Yeah.